Thanks, Hattie, and thanks everyone for joining our session. I'm Catherine, and I'm joined by my co-host, Issy. So we'll be showcasing 4 applications within the ArcGIS system that can be used for field operations, with a focus on how you can configure these apps to speed up your data capture while also ensuring the data you're capturing is correct. We'll begin by looking at Survey 123, our form-centric mobile app. We will then take a look at Suite, which allows you to carry out rule-based web editing. Our next app will be QuickCapture, enabling rapid data collection using big buttons. And finally, Field Maps, our all-in-one mobile app combining maps and smart forms. So our session today is going to focus in on Bristol. Inspired by the recent London Marathon, we are going to use the ArcGIS mobile apps to plan and manage the fictional Bristol Marathon. Following on from a successful 10K and half marathon route in the city, the event team are looking to add a new marathon distance course. So we're going to utilise the ArcGIS mobile applications from the pre-event planning to managing operations on the day. Each app will provide a tailored experience for a different set of users, and by combining these applications, we can create an efficient workflow from office to field and back again. So beginning with Survey 123, we'll create an easy-to-use, intuitive entry form for the public to sign up to the race. Next, we have the marathon route itself. This will require the logistics team to plot the route and the location of key assets, a perfect use case for Suite. Moving on to event day, we'll create a QuickCapture app to enable marshals to quickly report incidents, and the event team will respond and resolve to these incidents using field maps. So let's begin with our entry form. Survey 123 is a simple and intuitive form-centric app. You can replace unreliable paper-based data capture with logical surveys, allowing for quick and accurate data collection in the field. By adding validation into your surveys, you can optimize your field operations, improving efficiency and data quality. The results of surveys are immediately available to analyze within your ArcGIS system, allowing you to fully understand the data you're collecting. Surveys can be designed on the Survey 123 web designer or the desktop application Survey 123 Connect, and I'll be looking at both of those options today. The entry form for Bristol Marathon will be public-facing, so although I need to be a named user to create and publish the survey, users will not require an ArcGIS login to submit results. So I'm going to begin designing the form on the Survey 123 web designer, ideal for creating quick and simple surveys. On the right-hand side, I can see all the question types I can add into my survey. I've begun creating it with 2 single-line text questions, asking the participant's first name and surname. The next question asks for their date of birth, and I've added further details on the age requirements of the event in the hint box. I can make this a required question and limit the date range to reflect these guidelines. So I also would like to know if the participants will be running for a charity. To collect this data, I've added a single select choice question into my form. I'll only need 2 choices, so I can remove the third and populate yes and no. Under Appearance, I'll make this horizontal compact to save space on my form, and this is really useful as users are likely to be using a mobile phone. I'd also like to analyse which charity participants are running for, so I'll drag a new single-line text question into my form for the charity name. Now this question will only be relevant to users if they selected yes to the previous question, so I'll set a simple rule to reflect this, meaning that users are only seeing the questions that are relevant to them. Using the web designer, rules can be set on single select, drop-down, like at scale, and rating questions. So while the web designer is ideal for creating quick and simple surveys, I'll need to use the desktop application Survey 123 Connect to leverage the full smart form capabilities. Using Connect, you configure your surveys within an XLS form. So let's take a look at the final survey and some of the additional features I've configured. I've grouped my survey questions into logical categories. Personal details is expanded when the survey is first opened, but users can switch between each category. Alongside asking the participant's name and date of birth, I've added a map question type for the user's home address. This is automatically populated using the device's location, but users can search for a new location if required. The next section in my form is race information. Within this group, I have a drop-down question asking the users to choose their estimated finish time. This has been configured using a choice list in the XLS form. When a user selects an answer, a note will automatically appear showing which wave the user has been allocated, and I've used HTML to match the colour of the text to the colour of the wave to communicate this clearly. Beneath this, I have my choice question asking if the participant is running for charity. Selecting yes will make the charity name question appear, and rather than keeping this as free text, I've made use of a CSV lookup to improve data quality. Users can pick their charity from the list. This is a select one from file question type, and I've used the autocomplete appearance. So if the choice is changed back to no, this question disappears again. The final section in my entry form is terms and conditions, and I've made use of the relevant column in the XLS form to show different things depending what the user selects. Selecting yes will show the signature box question, and the user can sign and submit the form. Selecting no will show a note with further details of where the user can get help. So now our entry form is set up, let's move on to looking at logistics. We'll be making use of Suite's built-in data quality checks to ensure that data is correct at the point of capture. Suite is built on a rule-based engine, allowing you to validate topology, attribute information, and layer connectivity. Custom rules and validation can be set up to suit your business logic, creating a tailored editing experience for highly accurate data collection. Dynamic visual feedback will provide insight to editors, empowering users to make informed decisions. So let's take a look at the Suite app I've configured. You can see I have a clean user interface with the existing half-marathon route on the map. On the top toolbar, I have several buttons, and if I click Create, the Choose button will appear, allowing me to select which layer I want to edit. I'll begin with digitizing my new marathon route. I'll change to Follow Draw mode to allow me to quickly trace the existing route which the marathon will follow for the first few kilometres. When I want to divert from this line, I can click and begin digitizing a new section. When I finish this feature, dynamic visual feedback will show on the map telling me how many aid stations are required on this section of the course. I've configured this within an arcade script that's looking at the length of the line. I can return to the Choose menu and now pick my aid stations layer. Once I place the required number of aid stations on the map, this feedback will disappear as I've met the requirements. The user can undo and redo any edits they're not happy with. I also need to think how runners and spectators will get from the train station to the start of the race, so I'd like to digitize an access route that will signpost for the public to follow. I choose this from the list and begin digitizing my route. The access route will intersect the course at several places, but I don't need to worry about these intersections because I've configured Suite to automatically place crossing points for me. This allows me to see exactly where marshals will need to be situated on the day, saving me time. I also have a custom charts panel in my Suite application that brings in the data from my Survey 123 entry form. I can see how many runners have signed up to the event so far to ensure I can plan the appropriate number of facilities. So now we've got our entry form set up and the route planned, we're going to fast forward to race day. So over to you, Issy.
Thank you. So with our marathon example, we thought about how it's such a busy event, it's important to have a system in place for all of our workers to be able to report on their location and any incidents around them. QuickCapture is ideal for this, as it's a simple, big button application that requires little to no training to use, can track your user's location if they consent to this, and if shared publicly, it does not require an ArcGIS license to collect data. With how quickly you can record data, QuickCapture is ideal for when data needs to be captured by a passenger in a moving vehicle, especially because you can record your route as you travel. So here, I'm going to create an application for all types of workers to use at our marathon event to quickly report on any incidents that are happening around them that they're not able to sort at the time. So to create a QuickCapture application, you can either start with one of the many templates available, or you can start with an existing feature layer. So here, I'm going to start with my existing marathon incidents feature layer, and I'm going to confirm that I would like QuickCapture to automatically generate buttons for me based off my layer symbology. So for this example, this is going to be the list of values that I've set up within my layer. So as this loads up, you'll see that the buttons have been generated for me, speeding up that app creation process. We can then easily go and edit these buttons to make them bigger and easier to understand with icons. You'll see that I've also grouped the incidents together into specific incidents and then other incidents and personal concerns to make our app as easy as possible to use. We can then move on to configuring what our users are presented with when they click on these buttons. So if you take a look over to the right, you can see that I can prompt the user to take a photo or a video, thanks to the new update, of the incident, and then configure what information they collect along with it. So this could include automatically collecting the user's name or email without them having to actually input that information, so speeding up that collection of data. So lastly, we can also turn on location sharing, so we can keep updated on the whereabouts of our workers at regular intervals. So if we take a look at this in action, this is what our app would look like on your mobile device. So here we're reporting that there's a utilities issue in our area. We can then take a photo of the incident, we can select the severity, and we can write a comment if we think it's necessary. Once we've submitted this, we can then confirm the location of the incident on the map. So if the user has an online connection, then this incident will automatically be stored within ArcGIS for the necessary users to action, and if the user is offline, then the incident will be stored within QuickCapture and can be synced with ArcGIS when they have signal again. So as these incidents are being reported, we need an application that can be used to locate and resolve these incidents. So this is where field maps, our all-in-one mobile solution for capturing and editing data, comes in. So field maps combines the functionality of what would normally be a few applications into one map-centric app, which our workers can use for navigation, data collection, and location tracking. So if we first take a look at the Field Maps Designer, this is where we can create smart forms for our field workers to use on the go. It's also where they can download their map area for our workers to use on the go, and also edit our app settings, such as increasing the required location accuracy for our data collection. So field maps can be created from an existing web map. So this means you can configure what layers are available to your workers and also the symbology of those layers. So if you take a look over to the left, you can see that the web map I use contained the incidents, personal concerns, and marathon routes. If we take a look at the form I've created against the instance layer, you'll see it's a simple drag and drop interface, making it really easy to order and reorder our forms. If we scroll down a little bit, you'll see that I've also grouped similar questions together to make our form as easy as possible to navigate. With this form, our workers will be able to record additional information onto incidents, as well as editing attributes, such as if the incident is now resolved. You'll see for questions after this one, I've added a conditional visibility setting, so that certain questions only appear if a particular option is selected. So in this case, you'll see I've added a visibility setting to this group of questions, so that only appears if the incident is listed as checked but not resolved. So it's not only options that you select within the form that could control the visibility. You'll see that I've also got groups of questions that are being controlled by what the incident was listed as within QuickCapture. So finally, Field Maps also allows you to calculate questions based off either questions answered before that one or information from the user's device. So as an example, you'll see for this particular form, I've configured Field Maps to automatically calculate the user's full name, email, and date and time of reporting. So before our form is ready to be used in the field, I'd like to set up a geofence so that our workers are notified when they're nearing a high severity incident. So to do this, you'll see that I've selected the incidents to be used as the geofences, filtered down to only the high severity incidents. I've also added a custom warning so that our workers are notified when they're within 50 metres of one of the incidents, so they know to stay cautious and inform the public around them if necessary. So now we've seen how a form is set up, let's take a look at it in action. So here we have an example of one of our field workers going out and reporting on that high severity incident that we reported earlier. So as you can see, as they're within 50 metres of that incident, they've received a notification and any instructions. So as they get closer to the incident, they can click on that point and view the pop-up and any attachments. Once we've viewed the attachment, we can then start reporting on the incident. So you'll see that Catherine's full name, email, and date and time of reporting have been automatically recorded, and she can take an updated photo of the incident. As Catherine reports on whether the incident has now been resolved, you'll see that conditional visibility in action, as we're only given the questions that we really need to fill in. You'll also see that as it's a utilities issue, those utilities-focused questions have been provided for us. So once this form has been submitted, all of this information will be available for other field workers and also our team back in the office. So what we've shown you today is just one of so many ways our mobile applications can be used, both as standalone solutions and as part of a broader workflow. So the aim of our mobile applications is ultimately to streamline your data collection processes and ensure that everyone on your team can record information easily and accurately. And also, don't forget that as all of the information collected within these apps is contained within ArcGIS, you can easily utilize our web app builder solutions, such as dashboards or Experience Builder, to visualize that data. So if you're looking to make your data collection workflows more flexible, efficient, and accurate, we encourage you to explore the many options offered by ArcGIS mobile apps. So thank you everyone for coming to our talk today, we really appreciate it. We welcome you to come up and ask any questions, or if not, you can head to the location sharing stand just in the tech zone on floor 5 to find out more. So thank you.